Right, Dublin Kerry drawn 1-19 apiece at Croke Park. Other than the fact that David Clifford showed that he doesn't have the balls of a Bengali tiger, but it's the other way around. Did anything else stand out to you about that game? Were you impressed more with Kerry or Dublin?
I kind of tweeted it, and I think some people kind of took it up the wrong way. But it was a draw match with about 72 and a half minutes gone, and Brian Fenton raised his right hand up out the Cusack stand touchline, and they held on to the ball for, I'd say, the next 3 minutes, and then worked themselves into a position where they could win the game.
Yeah.
So where they would have an opportunity to win the game. And they did, and they got a point in. But it's so smart. They were never going to lose the game, but they were going to have a chance to win it. Do you know what I mean?
You know, like in American football, there's a thing called clock management. So that you try and work it so that if there's 5 minutes left on the clock, that driving the ball up the field, that you try to kill as much of that clock while you're doing it. So maybe that's what
I just think
doing.
it was very smart. Like, it just means we're going to get a free shot to win this game, and we're not going to lose it.
It was a free too. Yeah. It was, because I think he caught him with his ankle.
Jeez, it was ropey enough now.
Yeah, see, I think
Kenny was definitely looking for a big time.
He probably was, but like, I don't think the top half of the body there was any issue, but I think your man's leg just caught him in the ankle. I think it was a free for that reason.
It was a funny one at the end as well. Obviously the free that Clifford got was not really a scoreable free until Niall Scully kicked the ball away.
Yeah, well, like Dublin were, like, there was a couple of unsavoury things towards the end. I think any team that's going to win, if they find themselves in those situations in tight games, you learn how to do those little dark arts.
I genuinely, I think it's the most savoury thing of all time.
The most savoury.
I love all that stuff. Like Marty Morrissey said in commentary, it's unsavoury. No one wants to see this. Everybody wants to see it. You cannot beat Needle.
Is it like being in the school ground? Fight.
Yeah, 100%. Like, as someone tweeted me back when I said that, or something on Twitter, they said, the second he said that no one wants to see this, people are immediately looking up from their phones, looking to see what it is like. I just thought that was brilliant. It was a bit of Needle, totally harmless. There was no one clocked, there was nothing like that. And it just adds more to the rivalry. Next time they play again, there's a bit of Needle. Like when, after last year's game in Tralee, was it in Tralee or Killarney? I can't remember. Tralee. There was that hilarious incident where there was like a load of people kind of scrapping in the middle of the field, and Jim Gavin walked past like he was in a different world, and that just added more intrigue to when they played in the championship. And I just think that thing at the end adds more intrigue to the next time they play again. This is a rivalry that's going to be around for a long time.
Yeah,
you know, and it's all that adds to it. It helps that there's a really healthy rivalry with just a small bit of spite mixed in there as well.
So do you think if they meet in the summer again, there could be blood?
Ah, yeah. Like that's
you find that savoury.
That's what you want. Yeah, I'd love that. Yeah. Tell me anybody that doesn't, within reason, that doesn't like a row.
As long as no one's getting actually hurt.
Yeah, exactly. It's not actually dangerous. Like John Small and the boys coming in and ripping Clifford's jersey. Like it's totally harmless. And if anything, Clifford's jersey would probably be auctioned now if he wanted to, and he could make a fortune for charity, because like his first jersey as Kerry captain and there's no back on it. Yeah. I think that's brilliant. I'd bid a nice bit further than
it. Yeah, that was the next step of jersey huggers there, I think. Do you know Lamar Jackson, speaking of the NFL, when he was, like, he's the kind of breakout player of the season, a quarterback who can run, unbelievable for those who don't follow it. He used to have to bring extra jerseys to his games this season because everyone wanted to come up and swap jerseys.
Go on.
Yeah.
Jesus
Christ. Dublin did this without Cluxton, without Jack McCaffrey, Con O'Callaghan wasn't there
Paul
as well.
Mannion only came on.
Yeah. It's fairly impressive that they had themselves in a winning position against Kerry, having come from behind, I should say, as well, even though they're not long back from holidays. And you'd imagine Kerry want to lay down the marker more than Dublin would need to.
Yeah, there was a lot of kind of similarities with the All-Ireland drawn final last year, wasn't there? Kerry, they didn't dominate or anything like that, but Kerry looked like they were going to win, similar as they did to the All-Ireland final last year as well. And Dublin, it ended up then that Kerry were the ones hanging on. Kerry needed a free, just like last year they needed Dean Rock to miss the free at the end. So fitness or otherwise, Dublin just have this ability to always, it's like the spook teams almost a small bit as well. Teams know they're coming. You can never be enough up on them coming down the home straight because you know they're going to get this unbelievable finish. And as you said, I think Desi Farrell had three proper sessions on with them. I think that's what he said. Like.
Johnny Cooper wasn't there as well.
Yeah.
That was another one.
Mick Fitzsimons.
Yeah. I've kind of tweeted about how Dublin last year were coasting the first All-Ireland until the red card. And then obviously the way they performed in the last number of minutes, down to 14 men, to completely take over the game. The replay, I felt they always had Kerry at arm's length, and that's how the first game would have gone if it stayed 15 versus 15. I think this again, that Kerry seemed to be going all guns blazing to win this game. Like, they picked a very strong team. Clifford, Gainey, James O'Donoghue back, and that's definitely a positive. I don't know, I still don't, like, people are abusing me and saying, go back to the hurling, lad, and all this kind of stuff. When I started tweeting that, I think...
She know nothing about hurling either.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I'm in equally as disadvantaged a position. But, like, I just think that Dublin are a fair step ahead, and if they meet again in summer, or in the summertime, I still can't see Dublin being beaten.
No, at this moment in time, they are still a step ahead. Kerry's defence, you just wouldn't have that same level of confidence as you have in Dublin. Like, you know, in the second half of a game, Dublin, you're going to get very little off a Dublin defence, which is very miserly. You still feel you could get some joy out of a Dublin defence. Like, it was funny as well, weird to see, like, Brian Fenton being allowed to do what he did, being allowed to, you know, get the ball, take his couple of steps, break a tackle and kick points as he did. Like, he's a phenomenon though as well. Like, it's phenomenal what he's doing. He just glides past people, and invariably when he shoots he scores as well, which for a midfielder is savage.
So Kerry were down the Gael boys who won All-Ireland at the weekend with their club. Jack Barry was lauded in the past for doing man-marking jobs on Brian Fenton. The discussion on the Sunday game was, how was he let just roam and whoever was in his area just pick him up, that he needs a man marker. So from that point of view, is he going to be knocking points over for sport like he did on Saturday night?
Again?
Yeah, in the summer, if Jack Barry, for example, is there, man marker.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see. Maybe it was a case of not showing your hand, but just like not giving him too much attention maybe at this time of the year. Do you know what I mean? Jack Barry did a phenomenal job in last year's All-Ireland final. Imagine to have someone picking him up if they play again. But he can still be highly influential at times, you know. No more than Kieran Kilkenny was when the game was in the melting pot at the end as well. You know, there was a lot of talk about the mark. That catch he took was an unbelievable catch and was worthy of a free shot at goal. Saying that, if it had been different and it had been last year, there were lads running left and right side of him. He was isolated inside, but there were lads running inside. And last year, he probably would have caught it, fell to the ground and thrown it back over his head, and there could have been a man through on goal. But yeah, it was a brilliant game. It's kind of just come.
45,000 there.
Yeah, the GA, the marketing within the GA have it right, whatever way they have the fixtures to make sure that they play each other at the start of every year, because it kickstarts. The league won't get much better than that.
Unfortunately, the league will probably start to fizzle out a little bit.
Possibly, but it is a great start.
But Division 2 and 3 won't, because of what's at stake with Tier 1 and 2 of the Championship.
Just look at the results then over the weekend, like, and take Tyrone and Meath out in Division 1. That was a 2-score game. The other, you know, 2 of the games in Division 1 were draws, and then there was a point in the other game. It was really competitive stuff.
Donegal 19, Mayo 2-13. That the first viewing of that equalising goal at the end from was it James Durkin?
He
came on and scored 1-3. I thought, oh my God, what a goal! I was so disappointed when I saw a deflection afterwards. But for Mayo, like, did you see the reaction of James Horan afterwards? Big smile on his face.
He was laughing. He couldn't think he could believe it.
Part of it was like, just how did we get that? But like, considering how last season finished, and I know, like, in the hurling podcast, which you can see on the playlist there, we talked about the importance of league results to some teams, you know, like Waterford and Cork in the hurling, like how that went, Dublin in the hurling, whereas in the likes of Tipperary, the league, as long as you don't get hammered, it doesn't matter that much. But I think for Mayo, how it finished last year, they are league champions. They want to put up some sort of a burst for it, but they want to find players and they want to not be taken beaten. So I think that was important for them.
It definitely was, and as was said in the Sunday game last night, you can't equalise unless you go for it. Like, they really went for it. They threw a lot of bodies forward. Now, I'd say Jim McGuinness, if he was watching that, would have pulled his hair out. The fact that Durkin wasn't taken down, he was that kind of coached through somewhat. But and Michael Murphy was dropping back, trying to be an aid to Sean Patton, and ended up, you know, he was the reason that the ball evaded Sean Patton. The Donegal would be sick enough, because they're missing an awful lot of bodies, and to have gotten 2 points on the board at the start with a home game would have been big. Whereas now it's 1 point, and if they, you know, they have Galway coming to them, I think, in round 3. Not too sure who they're playing next weekend, but it just makes things a little more difficult. Patrick McBrearty obviously hasn't played yet. The likes of Oisin Gallen out. Oran McNeilis not taking part. A couple of other big injuries that will miss the rest of the league. Do you know, 2 points they were robbed of of a point the other way.
Did you see Michael Murphy going over to David Coldrick afterwards?
He wasn't happy.
He seemed to be sort of checking. Can I see your watch?
Yeah, he wasn't happy. Coldrick
I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy that he was going at the referee like that.
It was forceful enough.
Do you know what? I think if many other players did it, a big deal would be made out of it. I think it's certainly worth commenting on because that's, because we there's an awful lot about the respect referees the last couple of years, and I'm not saying it was over the top and he deserves a ban for it, nothing like that. But at the same time, there's no need for it.
Yeah, it was a strange one, because it was one of the first things I noticed just watching it as well. And he was very, he wasn't letting it go either.
Yeah. Which shows it means something to him.
Ah, well, yeah.
What do you think of Jamie Brennan? Had a couple of nice points. I think he looked like an all-star for most of last season, and then maybe tailed off a little bit in the Super 8s.
Yeah, he kicked a couple of lovely scores.
I wonder, can he kick on again?
Well, he definitely has the potential to. And if you have him on form, if you have McBrearty, Michael Murphy, Ryan McHugh, etc., Kieran Thompson, Michael Langan, I think Donegal, if they can get everybody, have an unbelievable squad.
Yeah.
Getting them all to the pitch at the same time and on the pitch is another story. But he's very exciting forward, very elusive. They kicked a couple of points from stupid angles, really difficult angles in fairness, with very little space as well. But he petered out as the summer went on last year.
Time, yeah.
So seeing him consistently over the summer is what we want to see. Consistently good displays.
James Carr's goal, definitely a miss it. There's no way it was.
Oh, it had to have been.
People would have seen him he could have taken a mark. So a high ball went in, it just went up to the clouds, pulled it out of the air, turned. The way he was trying to shape for that, it looked like he was just trying to glide it over the bar.
To be fair, from James Carr's goal last year against Galway, maybe we're wrong to say anything is a fluke. That man can do anything. But
we're not above questioning anyone around here. The cheek of us. Another point then. David Clark made an unbelievable save at one stage. 19th season with Mayo.
Yeah, it's savage, isn't it? Yeah.
Goal.
In fairness, his longevity, and he's really only come into the public consciousness in the last 5-6 years. In fairness,
I thought it was interesting to see Cathal McShane he was on the sidelines. Well, he was in the stands actually watching on as Tyrone beat Meath 114-19. Apparently he's due to talk to Mickey Hart this week. We'll see what happens. I mean, that's what was reported on Twitter.
Gone very quiet now, isn't it, over the last while?
Yeah, but what happened on the field? You see, Ronan O'Neill is back this year, and he gave a beautiful goal assist for Darren McCurry. Lovely ball over the top. But if you're looking at the options that are there, it's like a couple of years ago before McShane was put to full forward. You have Mark Bradley back this year. He was away in Liverpool, I think, last year.
Yeah, he stood in last year, yeah.
You've Ronan O'Neill back. You've Dazzler there, Darren McCurry.
The Dazzler,
yeah. McShane was the answer to the problem, which was having too many small forwards inside that couldn't. Well, they're not suited to winning their own ball in that 50-50 scenario. And before that, Sean Kavanagh, who was probably at the tail end of his career and probably not pacey enough inside, they tried to fix it by putting in small guys. Now the answer is gone, so I feel like Tyrone without McShane, it's going to be very tough, but still in all impressive or nice to get your season off to a 5-point win.
Yeah, it's going to be very tough without him if that is the case.
Yeah.
For me, that's very disappointing because I'd imagine they would have targeted that game. Tyrone's league form in recent years has usually been split in two almost, and invariably they've come with a run at the end to leave themselves in contention of qualifying for the knockout stages. And I'd imagine Meath were only beaten a point after extra time by Tyrone in the qualifiers in Navan the year before last as well. I'd imagine they would have felt that we can match them and that we would have a fair bit of training under our belt and could get something possibly out of this. But it never really looked like they were going to. And kind of a weird situation with their goalkeepers as well. Andrew Colgan got injured beforehand.
In the warm-up, yeah.
And then they switched goalkeepers at half-time. And it was the same.
They had 9 or 10 goalies in the last number of years.
And I think it happened against Meath last year, or against Mayo last year as well. The goalkeeper was wearing, Barry Dardis ended up in goals, I think. And he was wearing a bib. Because they obviously don't have a number 30 goalkeeper jersey or whatever. But it's a funny kind of scenario. I never
for such a crucial position. I mean, some counties are blessed that they have options. Like you saw, Evan Comerford stepped in for Stephen Cluxton, and it was as if they didn't miss a beat. Whereas other counties are so beholden to having or to trying to find somebody.
Yeah, no, it's not simple now. Yeah, and it's so important now. I think the reason Barry Darius came on was to do with the kickouts, and that's just, you just wouldn't have envisaged that 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's just like, put your head down. Like I remember we played a good bit of football in Borough underage, and Al Kelly, he's a legend, he passed away last year, legend of Offaly football, and our goalkeeper under 16 was asking him for some tips what he should do with his kick out, and he was just kick it. Do you know, like it was just head down, kick it as far as you possibly can. And it's just like the game has changed so much now, and it's such a pivotal position. For there to be so much jiggery pokery going on there is kind of surprising at county level.
Yeah, and at the very top level, you're going to get exposed anytime you show any frailty. Like Shane Ryan is a very talented goalie for Kerry, but he hit some very ropey kickouts. Some of them straight to Dublin, one to Shane Enright's toes. Very difficult to deal with. Now he did deal with that one, but crucial position. So it's going to be hard for me to get a win in this championship, or in this league,
particularly starting off like that. There's the couple of games. Tyrone probably would have been one.
Monaghan will be one.
Monaghan will be one, and Donegal will probably be one as well.
Yeah, well, Mayo are so all over the place.
Yeah.
In every season, it's hard to know, especially in the league. So you were at Pearse Stadium to see Galway beat Monaghan 114 to 16 points, and it was sort of a goal-mouth scramble late on that could have put Monaghan ahead. So Pádraig Joyce's debut, like, were you impressed by what you saw?
I was, yeah. The revolution is real.
What about Banty's debut? Were you impressed?
Impressed enough, actually, yeah, considering now, yeah.
Well, look, we'll start off with Galway. So Pádraig Joyce is in, Kevin Walsh has left. People were not far from complimentary of the style of football they played, and Pádraig Joyce, having written his column in the past, ghosted it for him. He wants expansive sort of football, and was the change obvious?
Outrageously obvious.
Really?
Yeah, it really was. The default mode the last couple of years under Kevin Walsh. Now, don't get me wrong, Kevin Walsh gets a lot of criticism. He brought Galway. Galway were Galway were not playing well. We're getting a lot of poor results. A lot of talent that was going to waste somewhat.
Would a lot of managers have got them to the level he got them to?
Yeah, there you go.
So I don't know. Would you give that much credit? I mean, like.
No. I'm just saying
they've unbelievable talent.
I'm just saying he gets criticism.
Yeah.
I just think he doesn't get any praise whatsoever. I think he got them.
How much do he deserve,
he got them to
really?
a league final, Division 1 league final. Haven't been promoted the year before. They won a Division 2 league final. He won 2 Connachts.
Which should be the minimum that they do.
It should be, but it wasn't before he came.
But just because other lads came up short, that doesn't mean that he gets an A+ for doing what they should definitely be doing.
Did I say he should get an A+? No, I didn't. I just said he gets a lot of criticism, and I said he shouldn't be getting just criticism. That's
Will you stop telling me what you're not saying and tell me what you're saying?
So the style of play was unbelievably evident. The default mode the last couple of years was lateral. It was usually head down. It was lateral. It was find a hand pass and it would start building from there. Literally now, and it was this obvious. When they get the ball, the head is up, and it's like, can I kick this ball 30 yards? Can I kick this ball 40 yards? Is there a man moving inside? And a lot of the time when they picked up the ball in their own 45, it was kick, and it was inside.
Yeah,
it was that quick.
So who did they set up inside? Because when I spoke with Pádraig in the past, he'd want 4 players inside the opposition 45. Now maybe that's not as practical then. Once you actually get on the field, you set up your team. You're like, too many holes back there. I'll put fewer up front. What way did they set up? No,
they invariably did have at least 4, and definitely always 2 inside.
And who were they?
Adrian Vardy was the one that showed most. Shane Walsh was drifting out kind of a bit further as well. You had Fintan O'Lee was in around there as well. It was usually Shane Walsh and Adrian Vardy. Vardy's a quite small player.
Left footer, red hair. Or maybe he's right footed.
I don't know if he's left footed now. He kicked the mark off his right foot anyway. But he's not a big robust player. He's not even unbelievably fast, but his movement is class. His movement is deadly, and he was the one that benefited most. He spilled a couple of balls, but he was always showing in front, and he was always their out ball, as in a good out ball. Yeah. It was a 40 or 50 yard ball across, and I think their goal summed up kind of the difference in Galway. Shane Walsh picked up the ball, we'd say on the left side of the 21, in line with the ball stopper or the stanchion that side there. He was wheeling around, looked like he was going to kick the ball over the bar, right foot curl. He just looked across, banged a lovely pass across to Michael Boyle.
Kick pass, wasn't it?
Yeah, a kick pass across, quick hand pass, Rob Finnerty sidestep, begging, goal. Like, they would have, everything, don't get me wrong, they made mistakes, but everything they were trying to do the right thing and trying to do the positive thing, not the percentage play. Yeah. Not always the percentage play. There was a bit of risk to it, and had Finnerty taken the goal chance at the start of the second half and they not spurned a couple of relatively simple wides, they could have had the game finished off. Now it worked out that Monaghan brought them into the trenches, and it's no harm that they came out of a dogfight, but there was no need for it to be a dogfight as well. Now, their defence wasn't really tested to the extent that it would be against a Kerry or a Dublin. So it'll be interesting to see. It's all ground playing, free-flowing, expansive football, but are you too exposed at the back? But one player that definitely stood up was Sean Mulcairn. He was full back from the Aran Islands. I think he was under 20 captain, and he won a minor, maybe not a minor All-Ireland, played in an All-Ireland minor final against Kerry actually. He was the Shan Nose dancer on the first ever All-Ireland, was it All-Ireland Talent Show? Was it All-Ireland Talent Show? Ireland's Got Talent or something like that. But there was 3 Mulcairn brothers, and he
tend to be watching First Dates.
He was the dancer on it. It actually wasn't around back then. And when they won a 50 grand prize, and he was a Shan Nose dancer, and he's got fairly quick. He uses his quick feet. But he's an exciting talent. He's only about 21 or 2. Went off to the States for the summer last year. Looks like one player that could kind of make a stamp over the next couple of years.
Pádraig Joyce said we're trying to play football and move the ball quickly. Do you know that chance you mentioned for Rob Finnerty at the start of the second half when he blazed it over? What was very telling about that move was the sort of possibilities when you have Shane Walsh up front, because Damon Comer soloed from midfield. He had a kick pass into Shane Walsh, and what I thought was so good was he has this ability to get separation from his man, and when you can do that inside and turn straight away, even if your man is still chasing after you, you're probably going to create a 2-on-1, hand it over a defender's head and give Rob Finnerty that chance. That's why I think he's such a brilliant option to have in there. If you could, I don't know what it worked to have him and Comer in there all the time. Do you want Comer bullying out the field? Yeah. But I think Shane Walsh in there, if he gets more and more accustomed to playing inside, bringing people in at the right time, turning and going at his man at the right time, like he could do untold. And like from speaking with Pádraig in the past, he wanted more from Shane Walsh. He's made him captain. Yeah. So it's trying to make him realise you're supposed to be the one who leads this team and delivers for us, and you don't have to worry about scores. You're the captain. Just worry about making this team play better. I
think it was a fair statement now to make him captain. There's obviously been fairly nice comparisons made between the potential Shane Walsh has and what Pádraig Joyce has done for Galway over the last God knows, or what he did during his whole Galway career. Yeah. He's one of the best ball carriers there is. He's so elusive when he's taking you on. Kind of like even like Clifford's goal the other night. You're looking at, he's an unbelievable ball carrier. Shane Walsh can do similar things. Having Comer back, it's hard to underestimate just how big that is, and trying to keep him fit. You have to remember, he didn't play last year at all. He came on and tried that bicycle kick against Mayo in the qualifier match. Back, yeah, that was the only bit of action he played all year, basically, between league and championship, and they're basically missing their most important player. So if they can keep Comer fit, Shane Walsh, Ian Burke, Rob
Kieran
Finnerty,
Malloy, get him back.
Kieran Malloy, the ponytail less. Kieran Malloy. Yeah. He just on a whim.
Will it be like Samson though?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. He could have made a fortune for that. He only grew it because it was a bet.
Between David Clifford's jersey and Kieran Malloy's hair, you're trying to make money left, right,
entrepreneur. Always thinking. It's like Galway. It's got to be an earner. There's always an earner in there. But it was interesting. It was just interesting to see the positivity around Galway, the way they played, and the positivity in general. The attendance yesterday, which I thought was brilliant.
Go on.
In Salthill, it was 7-6-5-4, and I was just kind of going to go, that 5 song was like 7-6-5-4 3-2-1. I actually said it in the press box, and
did everyone go?
A couple of people got a laugh. The younger generation would have understood what I was talking about. But it was just a very positive play, and there was a pitch invasion straight after. People are just mad for it in Galway at the moment, because I think there was optimism when Joyce was named. He did an interview at Galway Bay and basically said, this is how we're going to play, and was really positive about it.
And we need to win this year. Everything.
Exactly. And it's just kind of a lot of optimism around Galway at the moment.
Yeah, they just feel like at the very least we'll go down trying to play the right way. Yeah. Because I think everyone, like, even as a journalist, you were like, if you were told you have to go and cover Galway, you're a bit like, oh God, I have to watch this dour stuff now. Whereas now, just by virtue of him being over it and the fact that he wants to play expansively, you're like, I wouldn't mind it. You were probably happy enough to be sent to that game.
Yeah, no, I was, and there was always obviously all the buzz around Joyce's first game and Banty's second coming as well. But Galway would have always been known as a footballing side. Yeah. And like throughout Walsh's time as well, like we would have always said Galway have a fair panel. Galway have a fair panel.
I think they have a few holes in defence though. I'm not sure that everyone in their half backline is amazing, or the corner. Yeah, there's a few positions.
Interesting, actually, just looking at that. Like Killian McDade would be more renowned as a forward. He was playing wing back yesterday. Obviously, he was over playing Australian rules. He would definitely have the athleticism to be playing there.
I'm not sure if I see Paul Conroy being in that team if they're gonna, I'm not sure his performances are always at the very, very top level. He burst on the scene, was brilliant at times, had a horrible injury last year, but I just don't know. Like, he's kind of like Aidan O'Shea in some ways, in that sometimes you're wondering where does he actually.
Beard.
No, because of the size of him, you're a bit like. I know he can do a lot well. He's got good skills, but I just don't know where he fits in here at times.
Yeah, sometimes lads like that, their versatility can almost hurt them, because they're not playing maybe in one position nailed down.
Like in a different era, he'd have probably been dominant. Imagine Aidan O'Shea in a different era. He probably just went to town.
No, it's true too.
And sometimes both of them produce big displays. But I know sometimes it just seems that whether it's their size, whether it's their skill set, whatever it is, sometimes it just feels like they're caught between two stools.
Just watching Galway yesterday, you can't be foolish and think, 7 or 8 Corofin lads are going to come into this team. But the 3 or 4 that do, or the 2 or 3 that do, are going to be coming into a team that is playing a somewhat similar style to what they play. Definitely more expansive and attacking. And I just looking at the game yesterday and thinking, just Liam Silk will love this. He loved this bombing forward every
He's
chance
so good, isn't he?
Yeah, he doesn't look like a footballer. He looks like he should be in Peaky Blinders or something. Have you seen him? I just think he looks a bit like your man Cillian Murphy.
The apple cheeks.
Yeah. He just doesn't look like he should be on a football field. He's an absolute killer on a pitch.
So it's going to be. Are we imagining Silk, Malloy, and Ian Burke will all get in the team?
Kieran Malloy is not a certainty to get in, but he'll be there or thereabouts. There was 9 to 10 of them.
I feel like he's a Porrick Joyce type player, that he would play the sort of football that he'd want.
Yeah, it was funny. Banty said there's no restrictions on Rory Beggan, what he can do, and I think
he went in the far side 45.
It was actually brilliant to look at. Like Graham Brody has often gone out the field, the leash keeper, but Beggan was echo anywhere, and I kind of think that Malloy will have similar. It'll just be like play it as you see it, I think he'd excel with something like that.
Let's talk then about Banty overall. His first game back since 2011, was it?
Ish, I think, yeah.
But anyway, because Malik O'Rourke had about 7 seasons there anyway, at least. Were you impressed with what you saw?
Their fighting spirit, I was anyway, because they probably should have been. They probably should have been 6 or 7 down, and the game should have nearly been over early in the second half. And they fought back brilliantly. They kept Galway scoreless for 22 minutes in the second half. And it was 2 Shane Walsh frees, one that started that barren spell and one that finished it, and they got back into the game. I tell you what, Banty said after, I kind of asked him, it's kind of a train of thought that Monaghan have maxed out on their potential, maxed out on everything they have, and I suppose he was always going to disagree, but he just said, I 100% disagree. We had a poor year last year. There's a lot more in this team. There's a lot more young fellas coming through. And then I kind of got to thinking, you introduced Chris McGuinness, who came on and got a point with his first touch, had the goal chance taken off the line by Sean Moncurda, and it was really close to being over the line as well.
Were you calling for goal line technology?
No, and there wasn't enough people going mad about it to think that it was actually over the line. Then you had Aaron Mulligan come on and got this outrageous point off his left foot as well, and there was a couple of other new faces that I wouldn't have seen in years before. So there's enough to suggest that there's a few more coming through. It was Conor McManus's first game of the year as well. He kicked a lovely point in the first half. The ball just broke out to him on the ground, and he just flicked it over 20 yards off the ground like the ball was rolling to him. It was beautiful. And talking about the mark, he's the exact player that can exploit that. And he's the exact player that can exploit the mark in exactly the opposite way of why it was brought in. So a ball will come in from about 50 yards and he'll collect it in the breadbasket about 30 yards out at the edge of the D, which is that's not why the mark was brought in. And he did that yesterday, and you're just thinking, he's going to get free shot going now. And it's just like, but he's the sort of player that can totally exploit it.
They can now play him wing forward for a completely different reason, because he'll be able to win marks out there.
Kinda, yeah. Kinda.
I think that, I don't think anyone has too much of an appetite to listen to talks about the attacking mark. But even that clip of Michael Murphy collecting a ball out around whatever he was, 40 yards, and just a simple ball put in.
Yeah.
There was no real contest.
Well, Stephen Cohen was giving him a yard, or we're giving him a couple of yards.
You have to
now.
stay goal side
Yeah.
at the same time. Like it becomes impossible to defend. You now need to get out in front to ensure the mark doesn't happen. But if you go out in front, you're kind of leaving yourself at risk of getting caught from behind. Because the one thing you're told as a defender, don't get caught in front of your man for a high ball.
Yeah.
I don't know. I really, really dislike it. And as much as there wasn't anything disastrous from it over the weekend, there's enough to show that it's going to be a problem. And some game or some team's fate, whether it means going down to tier 2 of the championship, getting relegated, whatever it is going to hinge on it.
It'd be interesting. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see when it gets a greater body of work over 4 or 5 games, and if there's many incidents, and if there's stuff going on maybe over the weekend at Division 4 and 3 level that's less high profile that we're not hearing about, where it was a bit of a disaster. If anyone that was at matches or anything has any instance of that, or where you thought it was a mark and it wasn't given and this type of thing, it's just I just think it's going to be confusing, and I don't particularly like it.
Yeah, Anthony Cunningham, Roscommon drew 2-14 to all against Laois. Laois got 2 late goals actually.
That's a great result for Laois.
Yeah, but he said of the mark, Anthony Cunningham, it's there, it's good if you want to kill a game. So that kind of says it all. But a final word on Banty then. Do you think this is a positive sign? Is their football much different from last year? Is it more the same? And like he might say the team hasn't maxed out, but do you feel like we'll see the same Monaghan?
I think it's more the same really. To kind of have a fairly good formula that's been very successful for them over the last couple of years. I'm just not sure where they can get much more. Yeah. I'm just not sure if there's much more to come. McManus is 33 now, obviously one of the best forwards that we'll probably see in our lifetime. He's a class forward. I'm just not sure if they can do much more. Yeah. Like what's them? If you're saying they haven't maxed out, then you're saying it's them getting to an All-Ireland final. And I don't see that happening. The year Tyrone beat them a point in the semi-final, I think was their year to get to an All-Ireland final. Didn't make the Super 8s last year, would I be right in saying they made the Super 8s last year? I can't actually. But like, I have a feeling I can't
Did they lose to Armagh the qualifiers? Did Armagh batter them?
Could have had. But like that was... Last year was just a disaster. Then they were obviously, the year they got to the All-Ireland semi-final, they were beaten by Fermanagh in the Ulster semi-final as well. So if they haven't maxed out, like what's progress for them?
Yeah, it was Armagh who beat them by 8 points in round 2 of the qualifiers last year. So they had a very short summer, and let's see actually what date it ended. It ended on the 22nd of June, so they've had a long time to wait. Yeah. Just running through some of the other results, Kildare beat Fermanagh 2-12 to 14 points. So that's a nice opening win for Jack O'Connor. Westmeath beat Clare 2-9 to 111. That's a good
result. That sort of a game could have went either way.
Yeah. Then Armagh battering Cavan. So Cavan on a bit of a downward curve, especially after losing so many players.
Well, Darren McVeety, Killian Clark, Conor Mina, Keane Mackey retired.
There's talk of Keane Mackey transferring to Mullinachta in Longford.
Oh, go away.
So we'll see. That's a rumour I've heard that I think. Yeah, he might be moving down that direction or getting married down that direction. If anyone knows more on that, let us know. And if I'm wrong with that, apologies, Keane. But that's just what's going around. So Longford, speaking of Longford, Longford 16 points, Louth won 10 in Division 3. Tipperary drew it down 10 points apiece. Cork beat Offaly 20 points to 13, so Kieran Sheehan back, scored 1 brilliant point. Sean Powter back
got 5 off the bench. Yeah.
Derry 2-11, Leitrim 1-14, so a draw there. I'd imagine Derry are fairly furious to just come out with a draw. They were like -6 in the handicap. It was like 3-1 for Leitrim not to win a game in this division, and obviously they drew that.
Before the game, Derry would have been bulling if they just ended up with a draw. During the game, I'd say they were delighted to come out with a draw because I think they kicked the last 2 scores to get the draw. Leitrim looked like they were going to rob a draw. I think they got annihilated by Roscommon in an FBD semi-final.
Yeah. I think
there was a stag or something.
There was about 10 of them.
Yeah, there was a load of them missing.
So you see all these people tweeting about the end of poor old Leitrim and all this kind of stuff, and you hate to see this, but sure. It would have been the equivalent to a challenge match and sending out the under two.
There's usually mitigating circumstances. I think people went to town on that because I think Leitrim were Leitrim well beaten in a couple of underage games that weekend as well. But people went to town on them. But just the result that you skipped over was the Armagh result against. Oh, sorry, you mentioned it. But like Armagh are playing a really nice brand of football.
Yeah.
Really nice in the eye. Maybe something that people wouldn't have associated with Kieran McGeeney without being smart. And he gets a fairly hard rap, but they've been one of the best teams to watch over the last couple of years. They played Roscommon in a qualifier in Portlaoise 2 years ago. That was an absolute belter. Just a shootout, like a proper shootout. And putting up scores like that, fair enough, Cavan were poor the other night, but putting up that sort of a score, I think some managers are starting to realise that if they want to make a breakthrough, they're going to have to make a breakthrough on the scoreboard. They're going to have to be putting up consistently high scores. Was it Turbot? Yeah, someone, the headline in the Independent today was Turbot powered. And yeah, he scored 1-6 basically on was it his full debut?
I'm not 100%
don't think he
saw
played,
a lot of people kind of celebrating him online.
I don't think he played much last year, but he was outstanding. They obviously have Jamie Clark as well, Stephen Campbell, lads that we know. Like, so if you have 3 or 4 attackers that can do big damage, you're in with a show. And
then just Division 4, Antrim 310, Wexford 13 points. Paul Galvin's first game there. Sligo 5-8, London 11 points. So that's
their first win in the guts of 2 years. Sligo in all competitions.
Yeah, they've been having.
Or maybe not all competitions, definitely league and championship. Anyway.
Yeah, Carlow 11 points, Wicklow 9, and then Limerick 110, Watford 10 points. So that's it for the football. We've it all said, have we?
Yeah, it's a fair whack of games there. It's just to see the level of competition over the 4 divisions though. Like, you maybe pull out one result from each division that was maybe a slight bit one-sided, and the rest of them are unbelievably tight.
If only league could be championship, or they could find a way of doing it. There you go.
Maybe in our lifetime.
Yeah. Alright, that's it for the football show. Thanks for watching Our Game. Don't forget to like and share the videos, and if you're new to the channel, hit subscribe.